We always begin the same way with intention, posture, masters. So welcome, Patricia. I just saw you coming in the room. So we always begin with intention, posture, and masters. So the intention, you know where the road goes. It goes to focused attention, presence, and awareness. So that's our where we're going, and we do that. The road we go down is we're paying attention or bringing our attention to the experiences of breathing in, breathing out, and in between breaths, body. So that's what we're paying attention to, and we make the decision to actually do the practice, to not just sit, but to actually be working with our attention and our focus. So having done that, take a posture, the ready posture, upright, relaxed, resilient, awake, lots of ways to describe it. It's not completely casual or relaxed, like slouchy, but it's not like stiff. So there's an in-between dynamic tension. I like to think of it as awake. If you take that posture with your body, your mind wants to follow to its awake and ready posture of focused, attentive presence and awareness. And then we call to mind the masters. This practice has been done for century after century by ordinary people like us. So if you could imagine, somebody who for you is an example of being present, attentive, present, and and aware. Some combination of that. Could be all three, right? Could be somebody famous, could be somebody just Either one is fine. And imagine them in the space in front, and they're sharing with you their ability to be present and aware, which is what we're trying to do. That helps take you past any story of, I can't do this. So, having set the intention, established the posture, and called on the masters, we can begin. And we bring our attention to breathing in, breathing out, and in between breaths, body. And for this practice session, it's your practice session. You can do what you wish. I'm going to do a light guided stages 1 through 4, and then a very brief intro to the awareness practices of 5 through 7. If you'd like to not have my voice, you could turn it down or just treat it as background noise. I almost always begin with stage 1, which is I've joined my attention with the three-pointed object, the experience of breathing in, breathing out, and body. And I'm noticing when my attention wavers into distraction and steering back. So stage 1 is about noticing the difference between attention and distraction and choosing to steer yourself back to attention. And when you return to the paying attention to rising breath or breathing in, breathing out, and in between breaths body, you could begin to connect with those three experiences more deeply. So this is the gas pedal principle, giving more energy to your attention. There's a lot going on as you breathe in. So noticing as much as you can. And then the same as you breathe out, the layered richness of the experiences of breathing out. And in between breaths, everything that's happening with body. Just noticing, connecting more. As you connect more, you could stay longer with the connection by beginning to notice the beginning, middle, and end of breathing in, beginning, middle, and end of breathing out, body. So the three-pointed object opens up to the 7 points. More chances to stay with the object. And you might find you're staying continuously and completely from the very beginning of breathing in all the way through to the end of breathing in, all the way through continuously and completely with breathing out, and in between breaths, continuously and completely in the experience of body. Still noticing when attention wavers and coming back, connecting and staying continuously and completely. That continuous and complete staying, holding your attention steady and focused, that's stage 4. And that opens up, or you can add more energy by being aware that you're meditating as you meditate. So it's the gas pedal principle. We're bringing more energy to our attention in addition to continuously and completely with the object. You know that you're meditating like as you're meditating. Just like you can know that you're driving as you drive, or you know how you feel just being you. There is a self-knowing or reflexive knowing quality. 5, 6, and 7 are an arc or a continuum, 5 to 6 to 7, that echoes stages 1 through 4. So in stage 5, you're noticing awareness, being aware. In stage 6, you keep refining it. It slips away, you reconnect, you steer back, you refine it again, until you can hold it steady and continuously, where 7 is like an echo of 4. Being aware continuously as your attention is at least a little bit engaged with breathing in, breathing out, body. It's a good time to touch in with body and mind intimately connected, still holding the ready posture. If you're practicing stage 5, 6, or 7 with me, you're holding your attention still, eyes are on the road, hands on the wheel, foot on the gas. There's an awareness of breathing in, breathing out, and in between breaths, body. And you're aware that you're meditating as you're doing that. Just like if you were driving and you knew that you were driving as you're motoring down the highway, you don't drive off the road, you stay eyes on the road, hands on the wheel. In a very similar way, you're knowing that you're meditating as your attention stays connected with breathing in, breathing out, body. Good to touch in with body, still maintaining the ready state, the ready posture. Touching in with your intention, still practicing whatever stage you've chosen to practice. If you're practicing stage 7, you're working with holding your attention connected to breathing in, breathing out, and body, while maintaining being aware that you're meditating as you meditate. Eyes are still on the road, hands still on the wheel, foot still on the gas, looking for that perfect speed of attention where you can be attentive and know that you're practicing as you practice. Allow the sound of the bell to call your attention back from the space of calm abiding to how you normally hold attention. Look around, trigger the reorienting reflex. You can smile or not, the choice is yours. This is a wonderful time for a discussion. If you have an experience to talk about, a thought you'd like to share, a question, Floor is open. Oscar.
Hi. So I noticed this point where I stop conceptualizing words. Like I can hear what you're saying, but it's just sound. It doesn't make sense at all, or there's nothing more to that. Is that something desirable, or that I should try to just put it in a side, ignore, or something?
It could be either.
Mm.
What were you trying to do?
No, I think it's just that at that point, probably it's no longer a distraction.
Okay.
So that's why my mind is not fabricating or elaborating
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
what is listening. But I don't know if I should investigate more, like when happens, how it happens, that kind of stuff. Basically, is the question.
Well, that's a really good question. It sounds to me like a desirable state, but
Mm,
only you know from inside.
yeah, yeah,
So
I
if
would
your
say it's a good thing,
if your
but that
mind is
makes me
going,
really curious.
yeah, yeah, if your mind
Hmm.
is going fuzzy, sleepy, right,
Mm,
and you're tuning out, not so desirable.
hmm.
But if you feel confident in the practice and the instruction is just sort of like the sound, the background soundtrack, and you're not focused on it because you already feel like you know how to do it, that's fine.
Okay,
Right?
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. And then the other thing you said of being curious, of like, well, what happened there? That could be very sparky in a good
Yeah,
way. It's like, what's happening when I check out?
yeah.
When it just becomes the background. Because it could just be, there's lots of sound in our world. It could just be background.
Hmm.
Or it could be that you're on some subtle level um, disengaging. And
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
only you know from inside. So the curiosity is like, oh, it's a good thing to investigate to see what's
yeah.
happening for
Or
you.
if I can make it in the everyday and then stop
Right,
listening people I don't
right,
want.
right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Mark.
Yeah, I find that pretty interesting. I was thinking about the concept of distraction
Hmm.
and how perhaps there's a place where we need to cultivate our distraction, not necessarily in meditation, but we have to uh, cultivate the space where distraction lives so that we can uh, accommodate it in a meaningful way when we're practicing.
What would that mean to cultivate the space? That's an interesting phrase. Cultivate the space where distraction lives.
Well, well, you have these distractions that are they just pop up. Little monkey mind distractions come and go and
Mhm.
stuff. And then you there's also more tangible, uh, down to earth stuff that's really embedded in your psyche that comes up and is hard to shake off when
Mhm.
it does because it sort of wakes you up in a way when it suddenly pops into your practice. And uh, somehow it seems to me that that level of distraction deserves some form of, I don't know, it's not like you want to consider it while you're practicing, but it needs to be accommodated. It needs to be given its own room or something,
Mhm.
you know.
So in some ways, we're anticipating what happens at stage 8.
Mm.
But let's not go there just yet. We'll go there tomorrow night. Um, I think it's a very interesting, what you're bringing up is very interesting. There is So this is, I just offer this as a counterpoint, neither a solution nor an argument, but a counterpoint, right?
Yeah.
That the quality of spaciousness from which distraction sometimes arises, that quality of spaciousness is very close to being awake, to having intelligence. And and generally, this is meditation lore and my experience, it's very easy to close that down and say it is whatever, give it a name. It's X, it's Y, it's this, it's that. Um, but the quality of openness or spaciousness, or if you will allow me to use a Dharma word, shunyata, is very rich. And so allowing there to be room for spaciousness without shutting it down is that's a very advanced, that's good. Uh, but as soon as it sort of pops up and goes, I'm your monkey, and starts to run that way, I get, I'm your monkey, Brian. I get suspicious, right? So there's this gap between letting it be spacious and I'm your monkey.
Yeah.
I never thought I would say such a thing.
I, I wonder about the idea of uh, making friends with your monkey.
Well,
And
that's a different story. Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
different
Go
story.
ahead.
And, so we don't need to do all that right now. But yeah,
Well, we have been making friends with the monkey. We have
yeah.
been like we're not trying to get rid of the monkey.
As opposed to feeling like it's something that shouldn't be happening.
Right. We're not
Yeah.
saying the monkey's bad.
No, I don't mean, yeah,
It
yeah,
it's the spark, but it's sort of like, you're driving, if I can go back to the driving metaphor, you have a very bright 4-year-old in the back seat that's asking lots of questions and going a mile a minute and distracted. Look, there's a seagull. When's the ice cream? How long till we
mm,
get there? Do you think grandma will have cookies? Right? Like all over the place. Right? You don't give the 4-year-old the steering wheel. I wouldn't, right?
yeah,
So it's a question of like, but also you don't want to like smush the 4-year-old's spark. Like, so there's a dance to do between appreciating the sparkiness of it, but not letting the monkey have control.
no,
And that, and
not
that,
letting
and
it,
that, yeah. Go ahead.
not letting it have control, but but acknowledging that you need the monkey too
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
counterbalance. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Somebody who's, I was at a gathering the other day. I don't want to say a lot more about this, but a whole group of people walked in and they looked deadly serious, and I was like, oh God, let's lighten up a bit, right? Where's the joy? Where's the spark? Right. Anyway, I think we're on the same page. Mark, do you want to say anything back?
no, thank you.
All right.
Thank you for
Patricia, I couldn't
bringing,
tell if you were raising your hand or stretching.
probably some of both. I stretched my finger that's trying
Okay.
to recover. So who knows?
Okay. Patricia, I couldn't tell if you were raising your hand or just stretching it. If you were just stretching it, that's okay. But
Oh, just stretching. Sorry.
okay.
I
That's all
think
right.
Margaret had something to say.
Margaret?
Yeah. So um, you definitely don't give the driving over to the 4-year-old. But when your session's finished, you might look at that. I don't know what your word was, Mark, but that whatever it was that popped up that felt like it was really deeply embedded in who you are, or to me, it sounded like one of my old friends that keeps coming back. Those are the things I take to contemplation instead of meditation. And I think it's really important distinction to make in our practice. So like Brian's saying, you're not trying to get rid of the monkey because the monkey does have some intelligence. he's curious, sparky, and all of that. And the things that come up repeatedly for us are things that we actually need to, personally, I think we need to take them to heart and find contemplative space to work with them. So that's where the other practices, like the self-compassion practices or Tonglen, or we have lots of other practices for generating, making friends with the difficult monkey, I guess you could say. or, and so I just wanted to say that it's important because often I think people that I'm teaching right now in open house, and what I can see is people struggling with how to get rid of, and what they want to get rid of is their pain, instead of cultivating the spaciousness to sit with the pain, which is I think what you're saying, Brian. That spaciousness is big enough, strong enough, deep enough, whatever, to hold the pain. But then there might be a moment where you want to actually sit down and contemplate whatever the source of the pain is. So
Right.
I'll stop there. Thanks.
Thanks, Margaret. Well, friends, that might be a good place to pause. Unless somebody else has something catching fire you want to throw into the mix. A flaming monkey. Helen.
Well, I'll just say that I find that there can be a lot of insight in the places that Mark is talking and Margaret is talking about. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you for being here, and I will look forward to practicing with you tomorrow. We'll practice again at this time, so 8 a.m. West Coast time, and then there'll be the talk on stage 8 tomorrow afternoon West Coast time, so 4:15. And if you can do the time math, it's 8:15 Atlantic, 4:15 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. So I'll look forward to seeing you down the road. Until then, happy motoring.